Hello everyone, it's me, Nancy Finch, doing another Tea with Nan at Monday at 12 o'clock. I've got my Don't Panic cup today that was given to me by a dear friend, and it's a nice big cup, and I fancied a big cup of tea today. And the sun is shining and it's beautiful out there, especially in Cornwall. I don't know where you're listening to this from, but I hope it's nice wherever you are. So I've got my Don't Panic. I don't panic anyway. Hardly ever panic these days. I used to. Many years ago, I was always panicking. I was always reacting to things and being stressed and worried. And then I gradually, as you know, made up a few tools that helped me to deal with those things and those situations. The situations don't always go away, but the way you react to them is different. So I hope you're all okay since the last time I've been on here. There's nobody joined me so far, but I'm waiting for a few little, was one person come up there? Little icons to come up. And I'll send you a Monday hug, as always. And it's a good way to start the week, isn't it? So whoever you are, welcome. Today's Tea with Nan is going to be kind of light-hearted, and I'm already giggling because it's a really good place to be. Oh, hi Kev, it's nice that you're here. You're the first person on here, half expecting Val to join us any minute. So today's Tea with Nan is all about the Billy Connolly exercise. Now, oh, hi Jane. Oh, you're here, darling. Oh, happy Monday to you, my sweet. Oh, nice hair. Oh, thank you, Kev. Yeah, my hair's got really curly lately. It's lovely. Much prefer it straight. So, Billy Connolly exercise. I really love Billy Connolly. I think he's amazing. And I love his humour. And I like the way he diffuses every tense situation with that humour. And he's got a unique style, hasn't he? So because I liked him so much, when something happened to me a few years ago, I was driving my car, and I want to talk about road rage here actually later on. But when I was driving my car years and years ago, someone cut me up, and this old man cut me up, and it was quite dangerous at the time. And definitely wasn't my fault. He was in my lane, and the old lady that sat beside him, and he didn't even know he did it. So I decided to make up this exercise as a result of that, because how many people get really upset on the road, especially when they're in their cars and minding their own business and someone does them an injustice. And I know so many just lately, actually, a lot of road rage. And this actually really helps to diffuse the feeling that you have inside yourself when some injustice is happening on the road, okay? You can use this in other areas, but I really like to use it on the road if you need to. It's just fun. And I'm smiling at the thought of it. So what I did is he cut me up, and instead of reacting with some kind of anger, fear, frustration, as most people do, let's face it, we get conditioned to do that. We get used to it. We see it around us, don't we? So don't be too hard on yourself if you're one of those people that have done that before. I used to as well. So instead of being sort of, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. Hi, Wendy. Lovely to see you, hon. Happy Monday to you. So instead of being all sort of reactive, I decided to have a bit of a laugh, and I just did the Billy Connolly exercise, which is humour, this is going to sound a little bit odd, but it really works. I said, that's okay, you bleepity bleep, 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 smiling my head off. I wasn't actually using any abusive language towards the person. I was doing this to hear it out loud. I mean, there was no one in the car with me, and it was great fun. And the guy had long gone. He didn't even know I was doing this. So there was me going, that's okay, you bleepity bleep, 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 bleep. You can cut me up, I don't mind. And sarcasm is a really good way of diffusing that feeling inside you, because it's very important we don't hold on to stress, you see. And I'll go more about that in a minute, and all the different levels this exercise helps. So that's okay. And I went on. I thought, how many more things can I say? It's almost like a light-hearted insults that you don't mean, of course. It's just a playful exercise. So I went on, and I said, I bet that poor woman sitting next to you, she has a tough time all day. And I just carried on and on. For 5 minutes of this, he's got long gone, and I'm on my way. And I found myself giggling just like, a child, because I was diffusing the situation with humour, and I was making up anything just to do that. So as many kind of light-hearted, sarcastic comments towards that person that had just done it It's not harmful in any way. I was just playing with the words, and hear them out loud is really good fun for you. So you can use whatever expletive you like. You can say whatever you want to, as long as you're doing it with humor and a smile on your face, and you're doing it in a sarcastic way. You're not hurting anybody at all. And so I went on and on and on and done this. And at the end of it, I was really glad he cut me up, because there was me feeling lighthearted, happy, my body, all that tension. Have you noticed when you get sort of a situation where you're stressed, your body reacts to that right in your tummy area, in this solar plexus area here. This is where this particular exercise is so good. And straight into that area, you know, it goes, and you can feel it. If you become aware, you can feel how it affects your body immediately. People get angry, and anger is fear, by the way. It's a reverse feeling of fear. So you're feeling angry, afraid of not being in a situation, and that goes straight to your tummy and releases stressful hormones around your body. That's not good for you. It's bad for your body, actually, and it's not good for what you're feeling mentally as well. So physically, emotionally, mentally, we need to kind of break the cycle of that reaction. I've got family members. Oh, hi, George. I've not seen you on here before. It's nice you've joined us. Happy Monday to you. So I've got family members who react very strongly towards this. This isn't right. They shouldn't do that. We've got to teach them a lesson. A lot of people will react that way because they want justice, they want honor, they're trying to support themselves, maybe protect others. All those feelings that get tied up in it. But if you can be, obviously, you're not going to do this for children around probably, because they might get the wrong idea. But you're being light-hearted, just like Billy Connolly when he's on stage and he takes the mick out of something. He does it in such a great way, doesn't he? Oh, hi, Annie. I see you've joined us, darling. Happy Monday. So he diffuses everything, and everybody's laughing at what would normally be a serious situation. So it's really good for road rage, because then it diffuses that feeling of not being in control, because you're having a laugh about it. And rising above the situation is so important. We have to rise above whatever's going on so we can feel in control of it. We can feel in charge of it. It's going to help you release an old program that you're running in your mind. So when we have a situation that we can't control and we're frustrated, the synapses in your mind have formed a pathway, and the pathway is permanent because it's been going on and on and on. You've had it for years. So you form that pathway. When you do this exercise, you're changing the pathway. You're moving it into another direction. So instead of feeling this reaction, over a period of time of doing this, you'll find you naturally go on to a new pathway. And the new pathway is a bit like changing a junction box or a railway track. You know, you kind of, at first it takes an effort, and be mindful. And after you've done it a few times, you'll naturally go back into that place of, oh, that's okay. You can do that. I don't care. You can't affect me. You bleepity bleep, 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 bleep. Oh, it's so much fun, especially when we're taught not to swear or not to be, I mean, we're not being aggressive, like I keep saying, we're being playful. And we're taught not to do this. But if you can use Billy's exercise, I mean, he didn't make it up, but if you can use the example of this wonderful comedian, he's going to give you the inspiration just by watching him on, perhaps watch him on YouTube or something. But if you know him and remember him, just think about how much he makes you feel good when you're listening to him. There's another, I wasn't planning on putting this one in today's talk, but a long time ago I referenced a wonderful man who I was lucky enough to meet called John C. Parkin. I know this is backwards on the screen here, but you can obviously see what it says, okay? And you can read that. Oh, hi Joanne, lovely that you're here. Just finished work, school. Oh, she's listening on the way home. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Jo. Lovely that you've joined us. This book, I love this man, John Parkin. Okay, wonderful person. And obviously the title, which I won't say out loud today, but The Ultimate Spiritual Way is just under it. The reason why I reference this, by the way, and I recommend you get it. It's a brilliant book for anyone. It's because it's so light-hearted. It sort of talks about lots of areas, about relationships and etc., you know, work situations. So you can use this attitude to lighten up. And it is a very light-hearted detaching book. I love it for that reason. So I'm always trying to reference that, and he's a great person. But my Billy Connolly exercise is just a simple thing to remember. If you can rise above the fearful anger reaction when someone does you an injustice, whether that be in a relationship or road rage, like I say, it's a very good example. Perhaps you're coming back, you're driving back from work, a really bad day at work. You could do it then. You could do this exercise then, and just remember what it was, as if you've been cut up, or someone's done an injustice on the road. But you can just use that memory and then go, right, I'm going to let go. I'm going to get it out of here. I'm going to get it out of my mind. I'm going to get it out of my body, and I'm just going to let it go. And as I let it go, the more words I use, the more I smile, the better I feel. And you're releasing happiness hormones into your body, as opposed to the stressful adrenal ones that you would have had otherwise. If you're thinking about something that's made you feel unhappy, you're going to release these other hormones you don't really want. And your skin, your hair, especially in this area here, does react in this solar plexus area. So, your whole body really wants to feel good, and you deserve to do this. So let's have a look at my board. I've told you about the lovely old man that cut me up. You can do it, as I say, from memories, people that have done you harm or wrong. I know that some things are very heavy and injustices can be hard. I've lived a whole lifetime of them. But if you can, for a moment, realize that how laughter heals you. Everybody knows that laughter heals you. Way back there was, the Albert Hall used to have loads of people. It won't take the 14th, 15th century, 16th. They were all doing, the night out would be going to watch people, comedians, laugh. They'd make you laugh. And let's face it, when you're laughing, you're not stressed. So going back to that situation, I'm saying, whatever, I know that some of you have had a really tough time, but if you could lighten up how you see it, then, it's a bit like the sun comes out after the rain. You're not so affected by it. Your stress levels aren't so affected. And by the law of attraction, which I haven't even talked about yet, you won't be attracting more of what you're feeling. If you're suddenly feeling really sad about something that's happened to you, you place this exercise in there, and you think of all the things, and you make it all up, and you get it out of everybody, like a child having a tantrum. Then you suddenly feel calmer, and you suddenly feel more peaceful, and you're attracting more of that feeling, because you've just transferred it to another place. Your synapses have changed. You've transformed that negative into a positive, which is what I'd love you to do, because I know how I felt. I loved it. I was put in a good mood the whole day, and by the law of attraction, nobody else cut me up. Wasn't that great? So the lighter you are, the happier you are, the more detached you are, the more you attract more of that into your life, okay? You can clean up your emotional pond I've got here. If you imagine it, all these things that happen to us every day, or other people's stuff as well, family members we worry about, a bit like sort of having a pond that we think is clean and clear and we can see into it. But all that stuff is laying at the bottom of our pond, our subconscious. And you get a live stick, something happens, and suddenly all the memories of things all gets very mucky, all gets stirred up. And so, hi Joe, lovely that you've joined us, darling. Thank you. So all the stuff's up. This is a great filter to get rid of all of that emotion that you don't really want to be re-feeling. You want to get control over those feelings. And the way to do it, one of the ways to do it, thanks for the hearts, is to be lighthearted and have a fun experience from it, because you're healing yourself. I can do it over many things, actually. My relationships, my childhood, that wasn't fun, but I can put the Billy Connolly to it and say, that's okay, doesn't matter what happened to me. And you're just lightening it up and healing. So, what have I got on here? Yeah, I'm just looking here at what chakras again. As I say, it's good for your solar plexus because it makes you feel in control. Okay, it's good for your inner child because you're laughing. You're laughing at something that isn't funny. That could be otherwise. I mean, when that man cut me up on the road, it could be dangerous. I'm not denying that. But how would I feel about that the rest of the day? That would be an injustice. And, we start to get into ego as well. We start to say, he's wrong, she's wrong. And yet people have their own battles. So he might not even have known he was upsetting everyone. So, and that happens a lot. So maybe you could try this next time someone does that. Hi, Daniel. It's lovely that you've joined us. Perhaps you could use it if you feel a situation is unjust and it's happened to you. Use it for that. But as I say, it's great to use on the road because it's fun. People just see you smiling in the car. What have I got here? Yeah, you just release yourself. You're basically detaching. Detachment is really important. Otherwise, you carry on with that feeling and it gets bigger and more intense. And before you know it, you've attracted more of that. And then you go, every time you go on the road, for instance, you'll attract more of it. And one family member I know has a lot of that happening because they expect it. That's what happened last time. This is my reaction. And it goes round and round and round and round and round. And two people can go down the same road. And one will have a good experience because they're expecting it and because they're using a light-hearted attitude of, it's okay, it's fine. And letting it go. It's no longer bringing them down. So they're having a better experience. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm all good. Yes, you're all good, Daniel. Thank you. So they're having a better experience. But yet the second person go down the road and perhaps they've experienced this last week and it's always like that now and this particular area is like this, etc. You're going to order more of it. The law of attraction says so. So two entirely different experiences, same road. So that's just a good example. So you can be free from your reaction by breaking the habit of reacting in that same way. So don't suffer self-judgment. Yeah, I put that on there. Don't suffer self-judgment over saying the bleepity bleeps. I know most of you, like I go back to the swearing thing, I'm told not to. But whatever you're comfortable with saying is just light-hearted. And it's not going to hurt them because they're not in the car with you, you know. You're just expressing that in a childlike, high vibration, indifferent, freeing experience. So, and you're smiling. It's the most important thing because you're releasing that tension. What have I got here anymore? I've got a couple of tea with nans actually. I've got tea with nan, turn it all around. That's the nice one. That means that you can turn around the feeling that you've got now. Anything can change and you can gradually get used to this idea. So the 13th of the 11th, 23. And it's okay not to be okay is another tea with nan. So sometimes we judge ourselves. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't get that reaction. And I've had that all my life. And I learned this from so-and-so or our parents or whatever. We quite often learn our reactions from them, bless them. And that's all okay. But it's okay not to be okay. It's the 30th of the 8th, 22. So that's quite good. There's two tea with nans there. I want you to feel liberated from your reaction. That's what I'm looking for. And I've got two things here on another bit of scrap paper. I've got an affirmation for you that I've just made up. I use humour to heal and restore my sense of self. I use humour. This is a light-hearted, sarcastic Billy Connolly exercise. I use humour to heal and restore my sense of self. Maybe you could write that down or think about, I just use humour to heal. There you go. That might be easier. So what I also want to say is this, you know, every time I give you one of my symbols that I channel through now on these tea with nans, the last one, I'm just thinking I have actually used this one before. Oh, hi Val, lovely that you're here. Happy Monday to you, sweet. I have actually used acceptance before, but when I went to go and do this one, I actually realized there was another one that was just as relevant. So today you've got two symbols. This one I've just drawn out. This one you have had before on one of my tea with nans. So acceptance. If you have, thank you Val, it'd be nice to see you. If we catch up, have a little comment. So acceptance brings peace. It gives you a feeling of being in control. You know, you accept the fact that their behavior, this person's behavior, defines them, not you. And you have a choice over your reaction. So acceptance, I've written that out ages ago, but I'm sure you remember it. It goes up and down and a little sort of stable, kind of solid triangle in the middle. It's very nice. It kind of gives you a feeling of balance. So acceptance brings peace, and that's very good for you, okay? Peace of mind. If you've got peace of mind at that moment and you're not taking it personally, then you are feeling quite good about your life and you're going to attract more of that peace and acceptance into your life. So that's a nice one to do. Just draw it in the air, maybe draw it in front of the mirror, draw it on your hand. I don't mind, whatever suits you. And this is a nice one a lot of my clients really like. It's called Break the Cycle. Break the Cycle is a really nice one. It's about stopping, breaking those synapses, like I mentioned earlier. I always react this way because this has always happened. I've learned this behavior. And don't judge it, like I said, but you might be reacting with anger, fear. You might not. That might just be the last straw of many other things that have upset you. So this is breaking the cycle of anxiety and fear and worry. This is really good for your solar plexus. What do you do if the other person is doing it? Oh, I love it. If two people are on the road, Annie, and both are guilty of the same injustice, then they're both going to have a laugh, aren't they? If the other person is, unless you mean, of course, that someone's doing you harm, which if we go back to the beginning of this talk, I'm not justifying that anything that they do is okay. I'm not saying it's all right. I'm saying that your reaction is yours. And even if something is dangerous, upsetting, injustice, you have a choice over how you react. And quite a lot of people, if some person, it's their fault, we're reacting in an old pattern, and that's only going to make more of it. You look at road rage, it can get out of hand. You know, that person shouts at that person, and in the end, it's volatile. I've been listening to that just last week. A lot of people in queues of traffic having a go at each other. And I'm just smiling, thinking, that's okay. You can go to the front of the line. There was another guy that did that in an Asda car park. It was so funny. And all these people are shaking their fists at him because he just literally was so rude. And you know what? I really believe he didn't even know he was offending them. And then you've got your sense of self untouched by the stress of everything around you. So that's why I think you should perhaps think about that. Yes, they're wrong. Yes, they're in the wrong. They've done an injustice, but you still have a reaction that you can own and be more in control of. So going back to this symbol, this breaks anxiety. This breaks the cycle of that reaction. So I always do this when that person does that. You know, I've learned this behavior when I was a child. My mother did that. My father did that. People you hang about with. So this will break it. So you're in control of perhaps a new way of handling that situation. So you do a circle. And then this is a bit like a David Bowie sign, isn't it? You come down and you break that cycle. So you're doing the circle. This is how we react. This is symbolic of how we react. And you're bringing that intention down to break it. No longer am I going to react with that. I'm choosing, and this is where the power and the liberation is, I'm choosing to have a different way of dealing with that. I'm choosing to be sarcastic and light-hearted, and who cares? Because suddenly we feel better. And we do often sweat the small stuff, don't we, guys? You know, if we're waiting in a long traffic jam and someone cuts you up or someone does what this guy did the other week, I couldn't believe it. All the way around and just nipped him. And then he didn't even stop at the zebra crossings. People were just astonished at his rudeness. He's still in the wrong, of course, but he might have his own battle. I'm not making total excuses for him, but you will feel that feeling inside you. There might be some reason why he's done it, or perhaps he doesn't even know he's done it. And we know right from wrong, perhaps someone else doesn't. So that feeling will be in your tummy. You'll feel it, and you'll feel some reaction, some tension in that area. And obviously your words will come out. Some people, as I say, are really quite volatile with that. That's not helping. Not helping the situation. It's not helping them, and nobody really gets anything out of that. And the guy whoever has offended you, he's just going to think it's your fault anyway. What are they going on about? So just rise above it. You know, this is a way of doing it. Break that cycle. Break it. If you feel angry, break the cycle. If you feel anxious, break the cycle. If you feel reactive and you're out of control with those feelings, let's break that cycle so we feel in control. It's a nice one to use today. My spirit guys said you needed this one more than acceptance, okay? And some of you will relate to this one and probably like to draw it, as I say, with a little triangle. But this, a lot of my clients love this. When they find themselves getting very uptight about injustice towards them, they've broken how that makes them feel. Now they can feel light-hearted. If you break that, you've got an opportunity to form new synapses to make yourself feel better. Something positive. Turn it all around. You know, turn it all around. 13th of the 11th, 23. You can go to see to listen to that on Tea with Anne on my website, nancyfinch.co.uk. And if you want to talk more about that, you can always email me, nancyfinch@hotmail.co.uk. I've got lots of symbols to share with you, and I want to do that every week and just help everyone. The way I've seen the symbols work, they really are very good. You set the intention, you detach. It's a really nice way of using something I have put energy to, and I've channeled those through from my guides to help lots of people. And that was actually for a family member at the time, and it worked. You know, so if we can try and use these intentions, we are in control and we have that choice, and we get stronger and stronger from making that choice of not being affected. I choose to rise above it and have a laugh and just do it. It's something you're not allowed to say. Great fun. Like John Parkin would say, you know, you're using words that bring you into a very light-hearted place. So I do recommend you get this book, John Parkin. You can see the title, The Ultimate Spiritual Way. So I recommend this one more than the illustrated one because it is really brilliant. And I've given this book to read to some of my clients, and some of the clients I've given it to would not normally have been able to use a word such as this book is suggesting, but they found it so useful and so playful that they recommended. One person in particular said, I'm going to get it for my whole family. And you never would have guessed that she'd have enjoyed using that word. So whatever expletive you want, Billy Connolly exercise, that's okay. You can do that. You bleepity bleep, 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 bleep. And let yourself have some fun instead of reacting with anger, which is really fear, and an old way that doesn't really serve us. And it doesn't help the situation. Let's be lighthearted. And if you've got people in the car and you don't want to say this out loud, you can do it in your mind. Just smile and think it. Just think it. It's better if you say it, but you can just think it. And you're breaking the cycle then, aren't you? Because you're changing how you react. So please share this with other people. Your friends and family, they might. Oh, hi, Holly. Oh, thank you for being here, darling. Lots of love to you. Big hugs. So you might just help somebody by using this Billy Connolly exercise. Really does help. I've found it helps. My clients have loved it, and they've used it, and quite often just at the very thought of some experience using this, they're really they're smiling, they're laughing. So you've got the two symbols. You've got break the cycle. You've got acceptance that brings peace. That one takes away stress. And you've got your affirmation. I use humour to heal. Or I use humour to heal and restore myself to sense of self. Whichever you want. I think just using humour to heal, that covers all levels, doesn't it? It covers, you heal on a authentic self, mind, body and soul. When you're laughing, you're lighthearted. And lots of spiritual people know this. So I hope you can take advantage of this and use it. Please tell me, because I'm sure your inner child's going to love it. Tell me how you get on with it. And I'll be here again next Monday for another Tea with Nan. I don't know what the subject's going to be next week. I've got lots to talk about, as always. So it's a namaste moment. I hope you have a lovely week. And I will see you again next week. Please go to my website. Everything's on there is free. You've got meditations, you've got Tea with Nans, and you've got Nan Talks, which are more exercises. So I hope you can enjoy those. And as I say, I'll see you next week. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but it'll be fun, and you'll get another symbol. Okay? All right. Take care, everybody. Lots of love. Namaste. Namaste hugs to all of you. Take care.